Fox News alert now, the former commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian army making the grim declaration World War III has officially begun as the country faces pressure from North Korea and Iran. Now Russia retaliating with new ballistic missiles after Biden gave Ukraine the green light to fire long-range attack missiles into Russia, and the UK gave their green light with their Storm Shadows. So let's bring retired four-star General Jack Keane. So you see the response from Putin, an experimental intermediate-range missile. Why do you think Putin fired back like that? What's he worried about, General?
Yeah, well, first of all, Putin is really a master of psychological warfare, and in the Soviet Union and Russian playbooks, it always has been a major part of their conducting, kinetic warfare, and he's really quite good at it. I mean, look at it. He's forced the Biden administration never to give the Ukrainians what they wanted when they wanted it, and it protracted the war. So Putin keeps coming, and that's what this is all about. He wants to stop the use of ATACMS into Russia because he knows full well it already has. That can have some pretty significant impact. And certainly that's where he is, and that's what he's trying to get inside of Biden's head here and the Europeans' head. I think he cares less about Zelensky because he knows that Biden controls the switch here, and that's the reality of it. So in my mind, this is an experimental missile. I doubt they have any arsenal of it because it is experimental. They don't have much of it. And he's trying to use this as much leverage as he can to change the behavior of the United States and also Zelensky.
He says the missile goes 2.5 miles per second. The world's current air defense cannot stop it, according to what we have. So that's the message he sent. So the former military commander in Ukraine writes this. Soldiers from North Korea are standing in front of Ukraine. Let's be honest, the Iranian Shahidi missiles are killing civilians, drones. It is obvious that Ukraine already has too many enemies. Go on to say this is a world war. You feel like this is a world war beginning?
Well, I have some empathy for Zelensky, by the way, and for our audience. He used to be the chief of staff of all the forces in Ukraine. And he's highly respected. But, you're sitting where he is. You can understand his feelings about this. I mean, he's fighting Russia, and now another nation state has come into the war to assist in the overthrow of Ukraine. And to truth be known, all the escalation talk has all been about the United States giving the green light to Ukraine to use ATACMS and moving in mines. The real escalation is there's another nation fighting on the ground inside of Ukraine, inside of Russia, attempting to push the Ukrainian forces out of it. That's significant. He looks in the Middle East and he sees Russia's ally also, who started a war there, Iran, and Iran is a tangible provider of assistance. So from his perspective, that indeed may be the case. From our perspective, no. But I do believe we are in a pre-war era. I've said that many times. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea are seriously cooperating together, and they clearly want to change the United States leadership in the world with like-minded democracies. That's why they've been so aggressive and so assertive these last three or 4 years. And German intelligence actually publicized recently. I was amazed that they put this in a public domain, and I was gratified that they do. And I suspect our intelligence agencies feel much the same, but I have no knowledge of that. The reality is they said that Russia fully intends, after the Ukraine is finished with, to expand into Europe. And all the European nations know that, and certainly I think our country knows that. I know that as well. So yes, we're in a pre-war era. There's already two wars in our geographical key areas, the Middle East and Europe, and President Xi is threatening war, obviously, in the Indo-Pacific region. The incoming administration, given President Trump's strong views in the past and what he has done to confront adversaries, I believe all of these adversaries are reassessing as a result of the election that took place in the United States. And then I believe when President Trump comes forward and his team and they can begin with policy formulation, that will be another moment for them to see if they have to change the path, the very aggressive path that they're on.
Right. They actually have that intent. I think you think the Russians have that intent, even if they don't have the army right now to do it. That's their goal. General Jack Keane, thanks so much. Appreciate it. And pick up the Institute Study of War. Get it daily, sometimes twice a day, in order to keep up with all the hot spots in the country. Thanks so much, General. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you and the team, too. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.